I can tell you, if we were to flip back 10, 20 years ago, 30 years ago even, and if you were to ask me who I would be in the future. To learn this key, I want you to keep watching. There's good stuff ahead. Hi, my name is Myrna. I'm so glad that you are here with me today. You, yes you, can thrive after incest, trauma, and loss. I will help you thrive using inner healing, personal development, and high-impact life skills. Today, we are going to talk about answering the call. We're going to talk about what's necessary for you to answer the call. I can tell you, if we were to flip back 10, 20 years ago, 30 years ago even, and if you were to ask me who I would be in the future, my answers would have been different each time you asked in those 10-year increments going back. Just would have been. At one point in time, I wanted to become an attorney. I wanted to get into politics. I wanted to be the first Black female senator in the state of Arizona. I wanted to pursue so many different things. And that honestly was the dream, the desire that I created a 50-year plan for. Yeah, 50 years. You heard me right. And so when life happened and I was not on the trajectory and the path in the way that I thought I should be, I mourned that process. And thankfully, God allowed just a conglomeration of different experiences and people to come into my life in a successive pattern, so that when that particular break happened and I came to my crossroad experience and I had options around me, and I decided to push pause and to mourn the 50-year plan that I had envisioned, and to then ask God, what is it that you desire of me? What is it that you want from my life? And I was patient. I went through my process and got more and more clarity, and was brought around people who could support the vision and the call on my life, and who could give me additional language to what God was already communicating to me. And just that grace, and being in a spiritually charged environment, and being in an environment by people who were trained and equipped and wise and gifted and studied and experienced, those things came together, and I was able to assess and rediscover and redefine and reinvent myself. And in that process of me getting that clarity, I was then able to see some of the glimmers of hopes and plans that I had from my original vision. Just they were tweaked, and I had a greater capacity now to manage those things. My heart was in the right place. My motives were in the right place. They had been purified. And so I was able to answer the call. And one of the significant things was for me to go through my process of healing, to go through my process of transformation, and to speak about the goodness of God, the ability to thrive after incest and trauma and loss, and to help others do the same. I had spent years working for other people, helping people thrive after their trauma, after their horrific experiences and loss, and to repair and to recover. And I had many success stories. There were some people who they were not ready to make the change. They were not ready to make the transformation. And I did, and the team that I worked with worked to the best of our ability to help them along the journey that they were willing to accomplish. But there were so many success stories of people who were able to recover and to thrive after their experiences. And that gave me joy. I remember one time I met a family that I worked with in the community. The mother came up to me, the kids were around her, they were super excited. They were so transformed. It took me a minute to recognize who they were. She introduced herself and was like, "Do you remember me?" And I'm sitting there looking at her like, and I looked at the kids' faces and I was like, oh my gosh. It was one of the most profound experiences of my life. I think about that moment often, because when you're transformed, people can look at you and not be able to see your past. Listen, it's profound. And I want you to have the experience where somebody that you know, you can go up to them and you can introduce yourself and be like, "Thank you for what you poured into my life." And they would have a hard time remembering you quickly. But as you spoke and as you demonstrated your fruit and the good that's in your life, they would be able to recognize it. So be encouraged. Receive the love of God. Operate in the love of God. And trust in God, who is love. And know that you have been prepared to thrive. You can thrive after incest, trauma, and loss. I will help you thrive using inner healing, personal development, and high-impact life skills. I love you, and Jesus will always love you best. Talk to you soon.